Welcome to It's What Our Characters Would Do, the podcast where a neutral good ranger and a chaotic neutral warlock talk about RPGs, roll funny dice, and give away some sweet loot. I'm Bob World Builder.
And I'm Grace World Destroyer.
And today we're talking about The Legend of Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda.
And we're giving away a really cool Legend of Zelda themed dice set. But first, Grace, how are you feeling today?
I'm thirsty. I'm going to take a sip of my spicy water.
You do what you need to do. Wow, definitely have to cut that out.
That was wet.
Grace just barfed everywhere. No.
I feel good. I feel empty since I finished Tears of the Kingdom, actually.
Feel empty.
I feel empty.
Wow.
I mean, I waited for this game for like 6 years.
Wasn't it fulfilling to complete it?
It totally was.
Yeah, okay.
But now what is
a
there?
Void in your soul.
When will the next one come out?
6 years from now, probably.
How do you feel?
I feel fine. I had a good day. I've been feeling good lately. I was just thinking about how since the last one, when in these last couple of weeks, I've picked up a couple like writing gigs. That's exciting. I am working on turning the closet of this little office into some kind of sound booth. Not that we'd probably be able to record this in there because it's definitely not really comfortable for two people, but I could do some other kind of recording in there. I really don't know what yet. It just is a fun thing I'm doing. And I'm excited about this like cassette player I just got at a garage sale because I finally got to play the Skate Wizard's actual tape, not just the digital version. And I've just been having fun like remembering from the, whatever traces of my childhood where I used one way back in the day, but like really like barely as a child.
Speaking of the Skate Wizard soundtrack, I have Gauntlets of Ogre Power stuck in my head at all times now.
How does that one go?
I'm not going to sing it.
You don't have to sing it. Just like, what's the melody or whatever?
These are the gauntlets of
All right, it does not sound like that at all. Whatever. Yeah. I get a couple of them like stuck in my head, but I can't. That one for some reason didn't come into mind right now.
Axe of the Dwarvish Lords also.
Yeah. The axe of the Dwarvish Lords. So you've been just jamming away at Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I fully jammed it.
I guess it only took a little over a month probably for you to finish it.
I obviously beat all 4 of the dungeons. And then I beat the main boss, and I found all the shrines.
Killed Memor, sir.
And I found all the caves, and I collected all the bubble gems. I don't really waste my time on the Korok thing, because I don't feel
Are
like...
there infinite Koroks?
There's like 900.
Wow, holy crap.
I don't know how many I've collected. I still, obviously collect them to expand my inventory. But once my inventory is expanded suitably, I don't pursue them beyond that. Like, I'll do their little puzzle if I see it when I'm running around, but I don't seek them out.
Yeah. Well, we're really kind of getting into this topic already, so I think we should just say, hey, this is the Legend of Zelda episode because we were thinking about doing it. Like, we both... We're well aware that this was the only thing on Grace's mind for the last straight month. And if we're ever going to do it, it's got to be within like a month of the game coming out. So this is it. And then, of course, we're going to be getting back to some more typical RPG topics. But I do think this has some worthy overlap. I don't know how much we'll actually be relating this to tabletop games. I did make a video about like Zelda dungeons and how to incorporate that style into your game. So maybe I'll link that down in the description if you're really just like, hey, where's the RPG content that I subscribed for on Bob's RPG Radio? But yeah, so today we're doing a mix of that, and I think this is probably the right time to do our quick build, where we try to summarize the topic/goal for this episode in 3d6 words or less. And I totally remember that you did this last time.
I summarized it?
Yeah, it was the one with the pets and familiars.
I feel like I should summarize it this time, too.
But I was going to say, I feel like you should do this one as well. So I will roll it, and we'll see what we get. 14.
That's a lot of words.
Generous. Yeah, 2 6s and a 2.
Yeah, I definitely don't
Those are
need
pretty
that
good
many
stats.
words. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom is one of the best games ever.
Nice. Well, yeah, we do often tend to use all those words, even though we don't have to. But I think that is just kind of the topic. Just maybe celebrating Legend of Zelda, maybe the influence it's had on our interest in like fantasy or whatever, but mostly just talking about these games. So what's the deal? Because we're not going to get into the questions till the second half. There's not a lot of questions.
What's the deal?
So yeah, I never heard of Legend of Zelda. Tell me about it.
So The Legend of Zelda follows the story of the hero Link, who is reincarnated many times over the history of Hyrule due to a curse placed on him by his evil opponent. Well, I guess originally it was placed on him by the Demon King, but the Demon King then is reincarnated as Ganondorf, or Ganon, or Calamity Ganon when he gave up his reincarnations. Also involved is Zelda.
It's her legend.
It's her legend. She is the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia in mortal form, in most cases. These things differ from game to game. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but
the fact that she was a reincarnated, or maybe just incarnated version of a goddess was news to me when we were just Googling some stuff when I was Googling some stuff about the history of these games.
I think she is always, so she's specifically the reincarnation of the goddess Hylia in Skyward Sword. But in other games, she's only referred to as like carrying the blood of the goddess.
No.
Or like she's the one who possesses the Triforce of Wisdom.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, beyond... I actually, really, it's like I don't know if I've ever followed anything under the surface level lore of the game, because I've only played a couple of them in my time. And it's like, I know Link's the hero. I know you're saving a princess sometimes, and like she's helping with
sometimes
stuff.
She's a ninja, sometimes she's a pirate.
Of course, I do remember her from like Super Smash Brothers, Melee, as well as Sheik. Yeah, and Ganon's the bad guy.
Yep.
Or Ganondorf. I honestly never understood why he has these two different names.
Yeah, plus the Demon King. I don't remember what the Demon King... I know he has a name. It's slipping my mind right now.
Do you remember why they switched between Ganon and Ganondorf as names?
No.
Yeah.
I know that in Breath of the Wild, he's Calamity Ganon. But that is just like his final form, basically, when he's given up on his reincarnations in like a full state of rage, just like try to destroy everything.
Yeah, I think it's more like, and really just kind of trying to remember from Super Smash Brothers, I think he's Ganondorf in that game. So when he's more humanoid form, I think he's Ganondorf. In
like Super Smash Brothers Melee and Brawl, he's definitely like Ganondorf. That's the design that was used in Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
So those times, that is Ganondorf. And he's like sometimes a Gerudo, sometimes not. And then it's not even always Ganon or Ganondorf that is the bad guy, but that's the prime driving force of the evil. Yeah.
I just think it's awesome how it really is almost the most basic form of like a fantasy hero story. Literally just, here's the hero. They, want to save a princess, and there's the evil, the Dark Lord, whatever.
Yep.
Like there's not even the wise wizard helping the hero learn anything. Like that's not really a part of it.
It's just what he is.
It's just the most basic elements.
He's the embodiment of courage. That's why he's the hero. And I think something the games do to show that is he's always very small. Link is very short. Even in Tears of the Kingdom, I estimate him to be about like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, I know that's a thing that you pointed out, especially in Tears of the Kingdom.
He is a short king.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I always assumed he was more like average height. I can't really remember.
But no, he's
what
small.
it's like in Twilight Princess. Was like one of the others I played.
In Twilight Princess, he's more average.
I feel like he's just a normal
He's always
guy.
a little guy fighting against gigantic monsters.
Right. You usually have one large eye.
Yeah.
That you have
or
to hit
one
3
weak
times
spot
to progress to the next stage of the battle.
Mm-hmm. But Tears of the Kingdom specifically, I think has a better, more intriguing plot than Breath of the Wild. Because Breath of the Wild is just like you're hopping between these memories of like Link being with Zelda. But in Tears of the Kingdom, the tears, of course, refers to the tears of the dragon. The dragon who, like, obviously you guys should know the spoiler alert for this whole episode.
The game came out over a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well over a month ago. Probably a month and a half at least by the time this episode goes up.
Y'all
so
should
spoilers
know.
are coming.
And you should have, honestly, I realized this by the end of the intro.
You're very good at picking up
that Zelda is the dragon. Zelda is the light dragon that's flying around. Okay?
What?
Yeah, Zelda's the dragon.
What, dude?
The tears are her memories,
Oh.
obviously. So you're running around, you're finding those tears, which then...
You're a little guy running around.
Yeah, little guy running around, fighting giant monsters, finding tears. Seeing Zelda's story as she was transported to the past because she's the Sage of Time in this game.
This is all very cool to me.
Return of the Six Sages. That was pretty awesome. And I loved the story behind what Zelda was doing. And it was like very emotional because like her mentor and her ancestor is like is murdered by Ganondorf. And then there's like Rauru, the Zonai king, and the very dire situation is just very dramatic and cool.
Yeah.
Whereas Breath of the Wild, like 2 of the memories are dramatic in some way, but they don't really like hold your mind the way that they do in Tears of the Kingdom.
Now, but besides like watching you play a lot of both of these games, I myself did not play either of them. And I do feel like this game was way more story driven.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Whereas Breath of the Wild was really just like, hey, here's the first open world Zelda game, go run around.
Yep.
And that was the draw. That was the appeal. And now it's like, okay, the novelty of that has gone away. Now we're going to like actually create this thorough plot that was set up by parts of Breath of the Wild, I guess. Mostly just like the ending of it, I guess. Were these sages? Did they have anything to do with the first?
No, sages weren't in Breath of the Wild at all.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really just like, here's the bad guy again.
Yeah, it's kind of like this did happen.
But they added way more depth.
Because of the events of Breath of the Wild, because the castle is basically built on top of Ganondorf, the Demon King, as he was imprisoned by Rauru.
Okay.
And it is part of the seal that keeps him in place. But because of the events of Breath of the Wild, the castle has fallen into disrepair.
Yeah.
And like monsters have moved in, which has weakened symbolically Hyrule's power to keep the Demon King imprisoned.
Yeah.
So then when Link and Zelda go down into the depths of beneath the castle, Raru's power has weakened, like his body has turned to dust, and his hand like falls off, and then Ganondorf wakes up and is like, "Ah, hey."
It's Wario now.
And just like shoves the castle off of him and pushes it up into the air with the sheer force of gloom, which they never say. So like Ganondorf claims a secret stone, which is a stone that each of the sages has to channel their power through. They never say what he is the sage of.
Evil.
Right. Is it evil?
What are the other sages?
So there's fire,
Time.
water, air, or wind. Fire, water, wind, lightning.
Is there an earthy one?
Time,
as well?
light, and spirit. So I guess there's 7 sages.
And you don't know which one he is?
I don't.
Couldn't you process of elimination?
No.
Do the other ones?
So that the 7 are the heroes.
Oh, okay.
Rauru and Zelda, light and time.
Okay.
Raru's sister, what's her name? Raru's sister.
Girl Rue.
Also a Zonai. And then there's a water guy, a Goron.
Is the Goron fire?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A bird guy. I don't know why I can't remember any of
It doesn't matter.
the race names. And a Gerudo.
Oh, so then what's the Gerudo's sage?
Lightning.
Oh, yeah, but he's not that.
She.
Well, I meant Ganon isn't.
Yeah, Ganon is not
sage.
the sage of lightning.
But you said
so
he
it's
stole one of the sage powers.
He must be a sage because he has a secret stone and is able to use it. So he is like, I don't know, sage of gloom, sage of darkness, sage of monsters, but they don't specify what he's the sage of. But speaking of Ganondorf, really cool boss fight with him. You fight him, rehydrate. Like when you meet him, he rehydrates. He rehydrates because he's dehydrated at first. He rehydrates. You fight him. Matt Mercer is yelling at you through the fight.
Yeah. He is the voice of Ganon for anyone who somehow didn't learn that by now.
And Ganondorf is able to use, like, Link's special power basically is bullet time. And so if you do a perfect dodge, time slows down and you can do a flurry rush.
Okay, cool.
But Ganondorf can also use that.
Really?
Yeah. So that is the mark in this game of like an expert fighter. It's like you have the adrenaline rush. Time seems to slow down.
Wow.
So Ganondorf can also do that. He doesn't flurry rush you, fortunately.
Yeah, what does he do with his slowed time?
He just dodges you.
Oh.
You can't attack him directly, and you can't use flurry rush against him because he can out flurry rush you or out dodge your flurry rush. So you fight him. There's like 2 stages of that, and then he like eats his secret stone and becomes a dragon, just like Zelda did.
She had to eat it too?
Yeah, she ate hers, and like flies out of the castle, flies into the air.
Wow.
And takes Link
I was gonna say,
in its mouth and like flies into the air, and then Dragon Zelda comes and like helps you by like taking you on her back, flying above him. You dive down onto Dragon Ganondorf.
Wow, dragon battle.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's all in the sky, and the music is epic.
Yeah.
It's just a really outshines Calamity Beast thing in Breath of the Wild. It's like a way better fight than that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And imagine how all of that evolved from little pixel Link with a sword, just like attacking some weird little guys, shooting big seeds at him.
Yeah. And then like the epic final scene after killing the demon dragon is
reverts to a pixelated form in a 2D world.
But all together, Link, Rauru, and Sonia, who was the Sage of Time back before Zelda, return Zelda to human form. And then you're just like falling out of the sky, and like Zelda's unconscious and she's falling, and Link has to like dive and catch her. And it's like really
How does he land?
In deep water. If you land in deep water, you don't take any damage.
Oh, yeah, right. Water is no fall damage in Zelda.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
But it's really cool and awesome, and I loved it.
Yeah. And wasn't it a thing that, like, once you turn into a dragon, you're supposed to not be able to undo that? So how did they actually undo it?
So I think it was...
She barfed up the stone?
She didn't barf up the stone. It's like... So Sonia was the Sage of Time. Rauru was the Sage of Light. I think they kind of reversed time on her and also like removed the light dragon stuff from her. And that's like how it worked, I guess. Mostly the reversing time thing.
Cool.
And yeah, like besides that, the main gripes that I heard about Breath of the Wild is that all the main dungeons were too similar. Like they all had the same design, same colors.
Yeah, I heard that
different,
too.
Different
or
animal
at least
shapes.
I heard when Tears of the Kingdom was announced, people were like, there are dungeons again. Because I guess in Breath of the Wild, I don't know what the dungeons were like, but apparently they weren't dungeony
They were pretty
enough
short.
for most people.
They weren't very dungeony. It was cool that you could move parts of the dungeon, like tilt the bird dungeon, or like make the elephant dungeon raise its trunk and like spray water. But in this game, the dungeons are all unique designs. There's like different methods of getting to them, which was the same in Breath of the Wild, but these ways are more like puzzle-like, and they involve you like going up into the sky region of the game or deep into the depths region.
Yeah. And I feel like that element is just the coolest game design draw of this to me. Because of course it's like not only open world, but now it's very much three-dimensional in that you have this open world also in the sky and open world also underground.
I wish there had been more in the sky. I wanted bigger sky islands. It's mostly just like very small ones that each one is basically an individual shrine puzzle or there's a boss there to fight. But I wanted more sky exploration. And I didn't love the depths that much, the underground.
Why not?
It's like...
That part seemed really cool to me.
Yeah, but after a while, it's just all the same. Like, at least on the ground level, there's different regions.
Oh, true.
Like different
literally
plants,
all the same
climates.
terrain type
It's just the same terrain underground. It's kind of a hassle to navigate. And it's dark, so you can't even really see anything.
That's why Out of the Abyss was hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we are now ready for our little break.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back.
Boop. Do.
And now it's time for a random encounter, where we roll to read your stories and questions generally about this topic, and the person who wrote our favorite story or question takes home some sweet loot.
Let's go ahead and roll. 6.
Whoa, the long one. From Diego 2112 Gaming, funny Zelda story. Perfect, that's exactly what we're looking for. I grew up overseas, and at one time owned a bootleg copy of the Game Boy Advance A Link to the Past. Eventually, as all bootleg copies of things do, it got weird, and the save battery that allowed it to keep static game files up and died, so it could no longer maintain a proper save game. I was living in the US full-time at this point, and decided, well, I need to eat this week as a poor college kid. They put that in quotes and left the as a poor, whatever. So I took it to my local GameStop or EB Games or wherever. I guess probably EB Games at the time.
Yeah.
The location was both. I can't remember which it was at this point. The salesman behind the counter takes the cartridge and says, "This doesn't feel like a genuine Nintendo game." Smells it, licks it, and is like, "No, this is a bootleg." Pops it in his Game Boy Advance and plays the first 15 minutes right there. He's like, "Huh, I guess it's legit," gives me my money, sends me on my way, and that's the story of how I found out I owned a bootleg copy of a Nintendo game.
Huh. The licking thing, though, I heard about that because...
Shut up, what?
There was a thing when the Switch came out that the Switch cartridges taste bad.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the plastic would taste...
They're more bitter. So
weird.
Tasting game cartridges is a thing that people do.
Oh, man.
I don't know how you can tell if it's a bootleg that way.
I could see that maybe when it's a brand new game and it's like fresh plastic,
there's some kind of
still
coating
off
on
gassing or whatever. But this guy just sounds like a weird game store employee.
Yeah, maybe he was. But it's
and especially
something that
like what
is done.
after licking it, what if he was like, oh, like if he didn't purchase it after licking it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That'd be gross.
That wouldn't make any sense. So I feel like this guy had to be committed to buying your used copy of the game by the time he licked it, even though he didn't play it until after licking it. And also, I guess he just didn't try to do the save game thing because he just played for 15 minutes. So now some poor soul might have been like, "Oh yeah, Game Boy Advance Link to the Past," and then found out they couldn't save their game.
I'm gonna play all night. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it worked for them. Maybe his lick restored the save battery and the cartridge is
Magical
healed.
saliva.
Yep.
Just like Steven Universe.
Exactly like Steven Universe. Cool. That was a good one. Roll. 4 from What If Brigade. I could play the first few levels of original Zelda without the sword.
But it's dangerous to go alone.
Take this. I ran and dodged to the corner, got 100 rupees, survived on purchased weapons. I think eventually you need the magic sword, and I think I got it without ever getting the wooden sword.
Huh. Good job.
The original
I just
speedrunner.
am wondering, was it because you didn't know about the sword and you just thought that this is how you played the game, or was it because you wanted to challenge yourself? That's what I want to know. What if Brigade...
You don't, like, automatically start with it, I guess, then?
No, because you have to go in a cave and, like, get it from a guy, I think.
Well, I know the guy's in a cave when he gives it to you. I just figured that was, like, the first room. I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I think you start, like, in a village. I've never played, so I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, I mean, I played it as, like, a reboot version on some other console. At least I think it was the original one. Anyway, that's really cool. That'd be Unarmed Link.
3.
From Slit581. Bob, though you are younger, a lot younger than I, that isn't a bad thing. We all have to be born sometime.
I was never born.
Yeah.
I just emerged fully formed from the void, so...
Right. So not all of us.
Yeah. Your experience is not shared.
Have you ever played the best Legend of Zelda game, A Link to the Past? This isn't up for debate. For Super Nintendo / Switch and SNES Virtual Console. If so, which elements did you like? Which did you not like? And what would you change? So, no, I definitely didn't play... Well, at least I don't think I played A Link to the Past. What's the visual of that one? Is that also like a side-scroller?
I don't know. I've never played it either.
Dang. All right, I'm going to look up Link to the Past real quick. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I did not play this.
It's like a 3/4 view.
Yeah, it looks like Pokemon style.
Yeah,
like Pokemon on Game
similar.
Boy. Yeah, it looks very much the same. Look at the buildings. Even the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I definitely did not play that one. What was the follow-up there? If so, which elements did you like? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it has most of the same elements of every other Zelda game, at least story-wise, like we said. I don't know. You never played that one either?
Mm-mm. My first Zelda game was Twilight Princess. And I never played anything from before that.
Yeah. I played Ocarina of Time first, and as I've told you before, it was like it was a used copy, fortunately not bootleg, I guess, because it still had save games from the previous owner. So I did start my own, but I think I got stuck at the water temple as Kid Link.
Yeah, everyone gets stuck at the water temple.
Which
is reminding me, I did play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Okay. Yeah, and this was a time when there probably were walkthroughs online, but I don't even know. Yeah, my family probably had the internet then, but I definitely didn't ever buy a strategy guide for this game. And but then I still played various other portions of it as Adult Link, and I think even past that just as Kid Link from the save games that were on the console still, or on the cartridge. But yeah, then I played Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and that could be it. Because I never even played Majora's Mask.
I played Twilight Princess, gave up in the first temple because I couldn't bomb a certain boulder that I needed to progress. Then I played Skyward Sword. Once I learned how Zelda games worked, I went back and played Twilight Princess. Then I played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and play those at some point.
I still have them.
Yeah, but
play them on my 2DS.
Yeah, but I don't want to play them on a DS. I need a real screen. All right, let's roll another one.
5.
From Tenebricity 6170. One day, as a kid, I wanted to dress up as Link, so my mom made us costumes for me and my brother.
Were you
That's
both
awesome.
Link, or was one of you Link and the other one Zelda?
I don't know.
Or was it Adult Link and Kid Link? That would
just
be
two
cute.
Kid Links, because
Yeah.
I guess they were kids.
But which ones? Which costumes? From which game?
I mean,
Wind Waker,
look,
Ocarina of Time.
Link was the same until Skyward Sword really mixed it up, and he was wearing blue now, right? Is that when we started wearing blue?
No, he wore green.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then I guess it was Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild was the first time he wore blue. But then you did get a more Linkish outfit if you beat all the shrines.
Yeah.
But the outfit changed from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then Wind Waker was a different outfit, and then
No, it was the same. Got a green tunic.
Well, yeah,
and
it's a green
cap.
tunic, but the design is different.
Sure, okay.
The pattern is different. The color is slightly different.
It's like different fits of blue jeans, though. They're all the same.
Yeah, kind of.
Come on. If you saw a guy wearing a green tunic and a green pointy cap, and then a guy wearing a slightly different green tunic and slightly different green pointy hat.
The difference between you and me is I can see colors.
But they're the same color.
They're not. There's different shades of green.
Yeah, I mean, the Wind Waker's a little brighter, but it's the same thing. All right, roll again. And also, I was just thinking how I recently saw a really cool video. Like, it was like a 10-second video, I think, of someone in just an epic Link cosplay, like playing an ocarina. That's how I pronounced it as a kid before I heard anyone say it out loud, and I still sometimes revert to that. Just like playing that, just like sitting in the woods, and it was just this like really cool little shot, and it just looked very real and in-world. Anyway, I just thought of that. What was your roll?
2.
2 from Inflamed Lotus 3212. What was your first Zelda game, and what was your favorite moment from one? My first was 4 Swords, and my favorite moment was the trial of the sword in Breath of the Wild. Why don't you go first?
Well, as I've said already,
we just talked about the game.
My first one was Twilight Princess, but my favorite Legend of Zelda moment is the last scene of Tears of the Kingdom, falling out of the sky and catching Zelda. That's very neat.
Yeah. I feel like I'd have to say, well, actually, yeah, my first Zelda game was Ocarina of Time, as we just said. And my favorite moment, I don't know if I have a specific moment, but I really remember, even as a kid, just finding the Lon Lon Ranch to be incredibly peaceful. And I don't really remember what you had to even do there. I feel like you get a jar.
You get the horse.
Yeah, of course you get the horse.
You can get milk.
Maybe you had to get milk there for something. But I just remember, so again, it's really, that sounds kind of lame. It's not like a specific cool moment, but I just remember, even as a kid, being like, maybe it was something about the music or just the visuals of that specific area, but just really liking it. That's what came to mind. I don't know. Yeah, I have a bad memory when it comes to video games and stuff. So, but that stands out. Do we only have one more?
Yeah, I think we just have one.
Yeah, we did that. Okay, cool. So the last one from Jamal Coatl. My first Zelda game was the original for NES, but my favorite moment. Wow, interesting how they kind of answered the.
I guess
the
A
other
Link to the
person's
Past
question.
must be the most popular game.
Yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, my favorite moment is the intro for A Link to the Past. The atmosphere created by the music, combined with the rain as you walk up to the castle, sneaking through the castle's lower levels, finding your uncle, mortally wounded, inheriting his sword, and hearing his final advice, and then saving the princess and sneaking her away to Sanctuary could be a whole adventure, and it was just the beginning of a much larger epic quest.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I know that scene. I think I had an emulator that I started playing that on maybe, but I don't remember clearly.
Yeah. Honestly, part of Link to the Past, I just, the name is a pun. Like, what?
Yeah.
How did
I don't know anything even about the plot of that game.
Yeah, if the princess is saved at the beginning, I guess I don't either.
Yeah.
You have an uncle? What? Who's Uncle Link? Guess we got to do some research. Yeah. Maybe that'll fill the void.
Maybe I should actually get a Nintendo Switch online thing so I can play on the virtual console or whatever.
Maybe. Well, that was all our questions. And for sharing our favorite story/question, this episode's loot winner is What If Brigade. The speedrunner, no sword Link, dodging and running to the corner and getting 100 rupees and surviving on purchased weapons. You're going home with an awesome set of some Legend of Zelda dice. Woo!
Yay, you earned it.
Yeah, all those speed trials. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and debate that like button. We must have really been stretching for ideas of what to put on that table. So debate that like button. And then to be eligible for loot and support this show, consider subscribing or joining Patreon through the links below. Patrons also get a private RSS link to listen to your favorite podcast platform and other cool rewards like monthly 5e one-shot adventures. Thank you for your support, and keep it.
Stop building.